From your classic wanna now and let me bang bro to who the fuck is that guy, and any time that Tito Ortiz has ever opened his mouth, we've had some pretty iconic moments in MMA comedy. And if you thought that those moments were relegated to years past, you'd thankfully be mistaken, because Tom Aspinall has entered the chat, and boy did he make a 260-pound splash. Unfortunately for him and his fingers, it wasn't the splash that he was intending. Surely by now you've probably seen Tom shooting his grade schooler shot on Nina Drama, the current it girl of MMA goofball interviews, but if you haven't, here it is.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Have you ever been fingered by an MMA fighter before?
Fingered?
Yeah, fingered.
No.
What would it take?
But this clip doesn't tell the entire embarrassing story. The story of a man reaching for the top of the mountain, only to end up in the valley below. Except again, not the valley below that he was hoping for. I'll be jumping around a bit, so the full clip will be linked in the description so you can draw your own conclusions. But with that said, let's take a quick look at this interview and learn what not to do when it comes to propositioning a woman for digital stimulation. There's a good bit of lead up, but follow me on this because it's worth the preamble. Alright, before we get into deep waters, unlike Tom, let's look at our cast of day players in this Greek tragedy. I was having a bit of trouble pinning down whether this interview takes place immediately before or after Tom won the interim heavyweight title, but because of this clip...
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this fighter?
8.
8?
Yeah.
Cool, this is solid.
I'm going to assume that this is pre-fight. So in this interview, Tom Aspinall is a 30-year-old man on the verge of heavyweight greatness. He's in his prime, he's feeling himself, he's a tough young lad from the mean streets of Sherwood Forest or wherever he's from in jolly old England. Tom has got a chip on his shoulder. Admittedly, before making this video, I didn't know a whole lot about Nina Marie Danielle, aka Nina Drama. Her name sounds like every Instagram handle of every white girl that I've ever known. She kind of came out of nowhere and became like the Bobby Altoff of the scene, interviewing fighters and being awkward, similar to Zooey Deschanel on The New Girl, MMA edition, I guess. But after a little digging, I put the pieces of the drama puzzle together, and everything became a lot clearer. You see, Nina walks this interesting line between demure and flirtatious with her act on top of the all-thumbs LOL random cutesy girl persona. I don't know how much is natural versus how much is put on for her content, but it's definitely there. Also, awkward or not, it takes a level of confidence to conduct interviews in the first place, so I was wondering where that fortitude in Miss Drama came from. Well, it may have something to do with the fact that she's been a fashion model for almost a decade and was Playboy Playmate of the Year for 2018. Yes, indeed, beneath the adorable waifu image, Nina Drama was hustling high-class, tasteful ass and tit shots before OnlyFans had even exploded into the mainstream. So she can play up this oblivious, plausible deniability, but let's not get shit twisted. She's aware of the atmosphere she creates with these horned-up fighters who drink testosterone and piss machismo. And unfortunately for Tom Aspinall, that bait in the bear trap got him caught with his finger in the cookie jar. Or not. I don't give a fuck, motherfucker. I'll make that joke 800 times. It's funny to me every time. Introductions and pleasantries aside, the meat of the interview starts with this question.
Are you participating in No Nut November?
That's why you don't masturbate for November?
Yeah.
What date is it? Failed already, yeah.
So off the bat, there's some vague sexuality thrown into the mix, but what stands out here is that Tom seems to have a pretty decent sense of humor of his own, which is how I thought this epic moment in MMA comedy came to be. From the viral clip alone, I thought that Tom was trying to one-up Nina's quirky shtick with some barbs of his own, which very rarely works out when it comes to comedy. Nina's whole awkward interviewer persona is pretty much predicated on the idea that the interviewees are no-nonsense tough guys having to answer weird rando questions, so when they pull the reverse Uno and yes and her, the whole thing essentially turns into a bizarre skit akin to something you'd see put on by your weird coworker's improv troupe. But surprisingly, that wasn't the case, and that didn't happen all that much throughout the rest of this thing. Nina talks to Tom about aliens, she asks about the time he saw a dude get his nose bit off in a bar fight. Overall, it's a fairly normal, lighthearted back-and-forth Q&A leading up to the sequence at the heart of the matter. So Nina gets to some fan questions for Tom, and begins with one about shitting. Truly a fantastic way to set the scene for what's about to play out.
You have to pick one.
Yep.
only being able to poop one time a month or diarrhea every day? Oh, sorry, it was a fan question.
Who's asking these questions?
Just the fans. Only being able to poop one time a month
What?
or diarrhea every day.
Why
Go.
are they not asking MMA questions?
I haven't asked a single MMA question. I can ask you. You want me to ask you
No,
an MMA
I'm
question?
sick of them. I've seen when you do like a Q&A though,
Yeah.
on Instagram. People
kinda
ask you
like-
like all kinds of weird
It's kind of. Oh yeah, they asked me really weird.
So instead of answering the question, Tom reroutes the GPS to let Nina know that he's seen her Q&As before. He's seen them before because he's been creeping on her Instagram. And it is at that exact moment that Tom postures up and commits to the shot. He's locked in, I'm doing this, here goes nothing. Well, here went everything.
Someone had asked you, like, I've got a question.
Okay.
Have you ever been fingered by an MMA fighter before?
Finger?
Yeah, fingered.
No.
What would it take to
To finger me?
yeah?
Like, are we talking about the same thing? To finger me?
Yeah.
So very immediately, Nina is like, no, what the fuck? But Tom is not backing down. He's not hitting her with the JK. This fully grown adult man has slid the 8th grade chemistry note across the table. Can I be the first MMA fighter to finger you? Check yes or no. The bell cannot be unrung. There is no control Z. Tom has thrown down the gauntlet. He wants 5 on it. He wants to lose his watch.
Never.
No. All right.
No.
Well, I've seen some really weird questions on your Instagram, so I thought
Such a weird
I'm just
one
going
to
to throw
ask.
one in there. I'm just going to throw one in.
Now, perhaps this isn't the right time or place, but regardless of context, what would it take to finger you is an objectively weird question to ask, ever. Fingering isn't exactly something that you ask to do, it just sort of happens during the course of the romp, you know, while you're already fucking in it.
But only if it's mutually consensual.
Nina does a good job of not going scorched earth here and does laugh it off, but you can tell that this is not a proposition that she's going to be entertaining. If her body language and face didn't sell you on this concept, perhaps the amount of times that she says never will do the trick.
No, never.
No, never.
No, never.
I'm just checking.
Yeah, no, never.
Back to my question. What was it?
Now this is the real reason I felt compelled to make this video, because when Tom realizes that he has airballed his shot, the schadenfreudian laughter that overcame me was immeasurable. I was watching it on stream, here's that clip.
Back to my question. What was it?
Tom had to bail. He had to bail on it, bro. The clip that's going around online does not do this justice. Because the funniest part of that whole shit was him trying to get back into the regular conversation. All right, so oh, what was the well, I you know, I know people ask you some weird questions. What was my question now? The reality of the situation hits Tom like a ton of bricks to the point where he begins speedrunning the rest of this interview. He realizes the error of his ways and what a monumental fail he just walked himself into and wants out of this conversation yesterday. If Tom Aspinall had a time machine at this moment, he'd set the dial back a whopping 30 seconds into the past.
Would you rather poop once a month or diarrhea every day?
I don't really. Probably once a month.
Oh yeah, and then there's still the lingering shit question that hasn't been addressed, so Nina goes back to that. How appropriate, as Tom is now sitting in a massive pile of it.
I think I'll pass on that one.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. I don't know what this means.
Okay. This might be an English terminology.
Do you know what a Wigan kebabis is?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
So it's like... You'll never get this. You'll absolutely never
Do
get
I
it.
have to Google it?
Yeah, I think you'll have to Google it. So if you get like a pie, but your pies are way different. Your pies are like sweet, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get it. I know what it is.
But what's a Wigan?
It's just, there's too much explaining. You're going to have to Google it.
Okay, all right. What's the craziest story you have of Michael Bisping?
I don't want to explain it on camera.
Okay, got it.
So Tom manages to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge his way through these questions, really trying to get out of this quicksand. He's antsy, he's looking at his team to save him, but they can't do shit. It's really just a pot of slop that Tom is stewing in until this interview is mercifully concluded.
Last question.
Yeah, last question.
So there you have it. As sad as this whole display turned out to be, I gotta give my dude Tom Aspinall some credit for going full junior varsity and propositioning a Playboy Playmate of the Year in the dorkiest way on planet Earth. May this be a cautionary tale for all of you out there. Sometimes when you reach for the flame, your fingers get burned. Plus, everybody knows that that's Sean Strickland's girl, so it's probably best to avoid the shot altogether. That guy from the bar fight that Tom saw, that actually might have been Sean Strickland who bit the dude's nose off. What a weird way for an adult man to proposition a woman to begin with. So she's like caught off guard by like, I don't know if she's more caught off guard by the fact that it's a sexual question or that it's that sexual question. Finger me? What are you, fucking 13? Are we at your bar mitzvah? I heard Tom Aspinall fingered Nina Drama in the bathroom at Saul Morenstein's bar mitzvah. You know, I'm picking at her a little bit here or there, whatever, but massive respect to her for after this came out, for coming to Tom's defense when people were trying to, like, no one was actually ever going to fucking cancel him. He's the interim heavyweight champion of the world right now. He'll be just fine. You can't cancel an MMA fighter, not one that's on top anyway. But to her credit, she came out and was like, you know, all these motherfuckers trying to talk shit about Tom Aspinall. You know, we were having fun. We were joking, blah, blah, blah. That was cool of her. He was not joking. That motherfucker right there. Bro, if she had said like, well, I've never thought about it. That whole shit would have been a whole lot fucking different. Tom Aspinall was ready to like be like, yo, turn the cameras off, bitch. Let's go. We can finish this interview back in my hotel room, you know what I'm saying? Let me be your manager.
Change.